My name is Jessie and welcome to my channel, Bubble Stitch and Quilt. Today is a Flosstube extra. And so what is Flosstube? Flosstube is, videos about cross-stitching primarily. I do also quilt, but those quilts end up in different videos and I maybe make one or two of those a year. But today we're going to be doing a little bit more than a half-year, mid-year WIP parade. And what is a WIP? A work in progress. And so I'm really super excited to share with you what I've done so far this year. I feel like I've had a really great year and some really exciting projects. So I have set up my camera and computer a little bit differently today in an effort to try to make it so that I can see what the focusing is doing. But if I occasionally look off to the side, it's because my camera is up, my computer is over here, and I need to kind of see what is happening. But I also have a couple of special guests, which you never see, because I typically record in my bedroom, and so you don't see anything, and I close the door and everything. But I'm recording in my living room today. We're friends, right? Forgive the mess. I live in my house, and frankly, we are still in the process of unpacking from our renovation that we had to do after the damage that we incurred during the ice storm in February here in Texas. So forgive the mess, but we're all friends. When you're friends, you come as you are, and so you arrive as we are. But I do have a couple of special guests. I'm going to go ahead and show you. If I can get my camera to slowly turn. So right there is our Dachshund Jack Russell mix. Her name is Jordan. Her face is a little hidden. And then just a little bit further over, who's licking her paw when she shouldn't be licking her paw, is Peggy. That's our Chihuahua Corgi mix. Say hi, Peggy. Hi, Peggy. Here you go. Look, there you go. I got them to pop their heads up for you. They're the sweetest girls. And my husband is off in the corner doing some stuff in the other room. You may hear him make some noises here and there, but hopefully everything will be okay. All right, well, let's get going. Oh, Jordan's going to come and say hi even more. Hi, baby girl. Say hi. Say hi. Yeah. Yeah, I talked to you, and so now you're going to come be in the video. You're like, I'm never in the video. Can we go this way? All right. Okay, so let's get going. Grab a cup of tea. Today is iced fruit tea for me. Or drink, a beverage of preference. And let's get going into this WIP parade. I have a total of 22 projects that I've worked on in total for this year. So this is primarily WIPs, works in progress. There will be an occasional finish here or there because I'm going to give you an update of everything I've worked on from the first WIP parade that I did in the beginning of this year, where we stand on those projects, and then of course anything that's new that has started. So 22 projects altogether, 4 finishes in this year, and let's see. When I came into 21 with 11 WIPs, and then I have started, 22. Or 11. I have started 11 projects over the course of this year as well. So first up, I do have a little spreadsheet, so forgive me as I look down onto things. But first up is my oldest WIP that I discovered when we were cleaning up and kind of as I was going through some older boxes earlier in the year, last year I was in the process of cleaning. I found my oldest WIP, which I started in high school, which was years ago, and so that was Polar Bears, designed by Pat and Gloria. It was a kit. It's on 14 count Aida. It was DMC 2/1, and I had a finish. So this is my Polar Bear that I finished. It was one of my first finishes of the year, and so that's really cute. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I'm a little older, so I don't know that many people who are having children at this point, but I do think it might be a really good little gift for somebody down the line. So anyway, so that's project number 1. Number 2, if you have followed me at all at any point in time, you will know that I have been working on Cinderella Wishes Upon a Dream by MCG Textiles, and the artwork is by Thomas Kincaid. So this is what it will look like when it is done. I have been working on this well before 2019. I was a monogamous stitcher, but not a very productive monogamous stitcher for a few years before that. And so this is what I was working on. For my WIPs that I brought into the current year, if I can find the where it was at the beginning of the year, I will go ahead and insert them as I go, as I'm kind of explaining everything. So for right now, I'm going to say that if I have a progress picture from January 1, I'm going to insert that right here. And this is where we are currently. So as of right now, in terms of the progress, the way that the pattern is it's a giant like it's an 8.5 by 11 page that's like 2 pages in one, right? So it's a big pattern. So this is a 8.5 by 11 page, and so my goal so far for this year was to finish at least one more page, which I did when I did a monogamous May earlier this year. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get back to this to work on this page, but ultimately it would be a nice goal to have both pages done this year. But that's where we are as of right now. I love this project. I love Cinderella. It is my favorite. It's my favorite fairy tale, and I don't mean just Disney. I'm a big fan of all things Cinderella. So I definitely am enjoying this. So that's where we are. And I normally keep most of my patterns off of the Q snaps, but this is one of the few that I leave on all the time, and it lives in this project bag that I made myself. I won't flip it around because the pattern's in there, but that's typically where it lives. It doesn't quite zip up anymore, but that is that one. Next up is No Face Knitting. This is my third project that I brought into 2020, so I only had 3 projects coming in that were started prior to the 2020 year. And this is what it will look like when it is done. I am doing this. The design is by Harp Seal Design, and it is on 14 count Aida on white, just generic, whatever I bought, like probably at a Michael's or something. And it's being stitched with the called for DMC 2/1. I will insert a picture if I have a progress one. I'm going to tell you, I do not like working on this project at all. It is intended to be a gift, but at this point in time, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I'm going to continue stitching it for myself. I was working on it because I think that the person I had intended it for wouldn't have minded so much how it looked, but I'm just, the fabric is really hard to stitch. I don't love the coverage, and so anyways, but this is where I am on it right now. So you can see that the coverage is not that great. My intention at this point in time is to finish stitching it, and then I was probably going to go over with another thread, either another 2 or another 1, to see if that helps with the coverage and if that makes me feel better, which then effectively I'm just stitching it twice, right? So I have gone back and forth on whether or not I wanted to UFO it, which is to unfinished object it and just put it aside. But I don't know. Again, it was intended to be a gift. As the person ages, she's still into anime, so I do think it will stick when I finally do give it to her, if I give it to her. But there's a part of me that just thinks that maybe there's a different project out there that's better and for her. And this lives in my Love You More Studio Halloween Snoopy or Peanuts book sleeve, and this is a full size. Next up, we are now entering into the territory of projects that I started during the course of 2020. Let's be real, the pandemic made me go into a plethora of cross-stitch patterns. I basically, because we weren't going anywhere, we weren't doing anything, I still have continued to quilt a little bit, but my quilt room kind of became my office space, and so it became really difficult for me to be set up to quilt at any given time. So I kind of just picked up cross stitching on a real scale at that point. So, but I did purchase and started Sailor Moon Squad. This is what it will look like when it is done. Oop. Focus. There it goes. This is by Tilton Crafts. The artwork is by Daniel Kordek. And I am stitching this on 25 count Evenweave white DMC 2/1. Wait, that can't be right. I'm doing it 1/1 full cross. I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. And I wish I could tell you that I've done a lot of progress on this. I have not. I like it. I did purchase Pattern Keeper a few months ago. I didn't have it for most of 2020. I only purchased it in 21, and that has made a difference now that I've gotten it and I've started working on, and I started using it for Sailor Moon Squad when I do work on it. But you'll see that I haven't gotten very far on it, so this is where I am on it. My goal for the year is to finish a sailor a year, so this would be a 5-year project. I don't know how likely that's going to be. My plan for this year, as it relates to Sailor Moon Squad, is let me get a little bit closer so you can see it. This is my first time stitching on this high of a stitch count, so it was a little bit of a learning curve on it, and obviously, as you can see, I do a modified cross country. I pick like a 30 square block, and then I fill in the colors on that. So I don't stitch on the columns, I don't stitch on a diagonal, I just do a modified 30 by 30 modified cross country. And so but anyways, the learning curve was a little tough, but I do, I love this pattern and I really do want to see it get done. So my plan for this was to commitment stitch on it at some point in time this year, and I don't know when that's going to be. The likelihood is that, it's August, y'all, so chances are the commitment stitch for this will probably happen in September. Should we do that? Should we say September? Sailor September Sailor. I'd like that. Let's make this a focus commitment project in September. So, and that typically lives in this project bag that I made myself. So, quick, super good that you can't see the pattern that's in there. Okay. Next up is Winter Carriage Ride by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Even that up. There we go. It was a gift from a very good friend of mine, and so I'm really happy to finally be working on it. I didn't get very far, I don't think. So I am doing this on, it's the kit provided by Frosted Pumpkin. So this is on 14 count Aida, Oaken by Picture Disc Plus. I am doing this 2/1 with the called for DMC, and this is where we are currently. So I really, as you can see, only have just that bottom piece right here that I need to do, and really I just need to do it. I think there's no reason why this cannot be a finish this year. So but it's cute. It's a really cute project. I'm really looking forward to it. I do have the entire seasonal series. I wish I could tell you that I'm really good about all my projects being in project bags. They are not. It lives in a Ziploc baggie, but as you can see, hidden in here are the 3 fabrics for the other 3 projects that are planned that are part of the series. But we'll get to them when I get to them. Okay. Next up is our favorite Hello series. I am also working on Hello Pumpkin. Let's see if I can get that glare away. There we go. So I'm also working on Hello Pumpkin. This I also purchased the kit from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and it's on 28 count Evenweave. I'm doing a 2/2 with the called for DMC. I don't think I had gotten very far at the beginning of the year, but this has been called a couple of times on the WIP Go, which is the Facebook group that does it's like a bingo, modified bingo for your WIPs or whatever projects you want to work on. It's whatever you want to do, be you. And this is where I am. I do love these projects. I think that the Hello series are super cute. I do enjoy working on them, but it's deceptive, right? This owl took me like a month. I mean, not like full-time focus, but sometimes they do take a little longer than you anticipate. But that is where I am on Hello Pumpkin. And that also lives in this project bag that I made myself. And that's the inside. And so there we are. That's the end of my self-made project bags. I have discovered that while I can make them, and I don't think I'm bad at them, I'm not great at them, but I think if I practice a little bit more, I'll get pretty good at it. If I'm going to spend time at the sewing machine, I'd rather be quilting, just being real. A little sip. So, takes care of that one. All right. Next up is Liberty Quaker. Now, you're going to see my before picture for Liberty Quaker, and you're just going to laugh that I considered this a WIP at the beginning of the year. But I did have like 20 stitches in it, and so it is technically a WIP. I'm sorry. This one also lives in a Ziploc baggie. I do purchase project bags as I go, and as I see things that I think will fit the project, I will buy them, but so far. So this is Liberty Quaker. This is what it'll look like when it is done. And this is by Luminous Fiber Arts. So if you have watched me, you'll know that I am not necessarily a patriotic stitcher. I am but I like cutesy. If you haven't noticed that, I like cutesy and quirky kind of projects, and I just fell in love with that squirrel. So, and I thought that he was just adorable. And Misty even said that its other name is known as AKA Nuts About America. So, but as you will see, I have not done very much on it when I started at the beginning of this year, but I am stitching this on 32 count Belfast linen, Mountain Baker Blue by Lakeside Linen. And I'm doing this with all of the called for floss, which is a combination of Weeks Dye Works, DMC, and General Arts. And this is just as far as I've gotten on it. So just a little bit on the flag. I think I only worked on it when it got called for a WIP Go, and that's all I've done this year. We'll see when I get to it again. Again, it's not... Although I think it's very cute, it's for whatever reason, I typically don't think to pick it up. So I will probably end up focusing on it in next year to have a finish for next year. It's that one. Next is one of my favorite pieces, and I really cannot wait to finish it. This one is Pumpkin Thief by Madame Chantilly. This is what it will look like when it is done. I was taking this to football games. So my husband and I are season ticket holders to the Houston Texans. And we did keep our tickets during the pandemic. We felt like the protocols were pretty good, and literally like the closest people to us were like 12 feet away, mask mandates and everything. And so I would take this piece with me to the football game in addition with the polar bears. And it was a little funny. People did kind of make fun of me about taking my cross stitching with me. But you know what? I got a lot done on it. And this one, come October, is probably going to be my focus Halloween piece. But this is where I am on it right now. Oh, I forgot to tell you what I was doing. I'm doing this on 32 count Belfast linen Nocturne by Picture This Plus DMC 2/2. So here we are again. It's cute. I love this, and I like doing it on the Nocturne. I like the idea that if you're going to steal some pumpkins, you're going to do it in the middle of the night, right? So there we are. Oh, I love it. Quirky, cute. And this one lives in a recently purchased for me 805 Stitcher bag. It's Halloween dogs, y'all. Look at that. Halloween dogs. And then that's the inside. So that's what that one lives in there. Right. Next up is the next in the Hello series. I mean, you don't think I'm working on just pumpkin, right? I am. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have a completed picture of Hello Dear. I'll try to insert one here of a picture of the completed picture for Hello Dear. So that is also the kit by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I am going to be doing this on 28 count Evenweave DMC, called for 2/2. I only worked on this like just a little bit. I'm not even sure I've worked on it since last year. Guess we'll see when the progress. I didn't look at any of my beginning pictures before starting to film this, which I probably guess I should have. Anyways, we're winging it. So this is where I am on Hello Dear. This will get picked up in November, December. I try to give Thanksgiving its due, but for the most part, once Halloween's done, I go into full-on Christmas stitching, or holiday stitching more accurately. So this will come back out in either November or December. I'm going to try probably to work on it in November, mostly because I got some boxes coming in December, some Advent cross-stitch boxes, and I have a feeling I'm going to want to start some of those. So this will probably come back out in November of this year. All right. And I'm not sure how long this video is. Oh, we're at 22 minutes. That's not so bad. I feel like I'm talking quickly. I'm sorry if I'm talking quickly. All right. Next up is another Christmas stitch that I started during December of last year. And this is Barbara Anna's Christmas tree. It lives in the tube. I keep it in the tube, whether that's good or bad. I don't think that there is a full picture of what it will look like when it is done. Actually, I don't even have my little card that is provided. Anyways, I'll try to insert a picture in here of what it will look like when it is done. I am not really sure I've even picked this up since I showed this to you at the beginning of the year, so there might not actually be any progress on this. But this is the full kit provided by Nika Moscow. The designer is Barbara Anna Designs, one of my favorite designers. It's very hard every time something releases with her. I don't do all the projects, but I always have to resist the take my money feeling, right? I love her. I think she's one of my favorite designers, and I will always probably have a Barbara Anna piece in progress. But I'm doing this 25 count even weave DMC, and I'm doing it 2/2, and this is where it is. I've gotten all the way to the top, and then I've put together these two branches of the tree. Focus, focus, focus. There it goes. But again, similar to Hello Dear and probably Winter Carriage Ride, I will pull all of these out probably after Halloween, and they become my focus stitches, assuming as we get towards the end of the video, I'm going to talk about some things else, assuming that I finished some other things. And we have now hit the last of the projects from 2020 that I started in 2020. This one I actually started on New Year's Eve. And and that was Happily Ever After by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. That is what it will look like when it is done. And I am doing this again also with the kit that was provided by Frosted Pumpkin on 28 count Belfast linen, Crystal Helix by Picture Disc Plus. I'm doing a DMC 2/2. This has been called a couple of times in WIPGA. And this is where I have gone to. My fear right now is that I think I'm talking too quickly to show my before pictures. But anyways, but that's where we are. I had an original plan that I was going to do one story a month and then like finish it in the end of the year, and that just did not happen. So I don't know when this will come back out. It's a fun little stitch, and it'll just come out. Honestly, it'll probably come out when it is a good pattern for magical stitches, but we'll see. And it lives in this project bag by the 805 Stitcher. It's not very thematic, but I like it, and that's what matters. That is all of the WIPs that I brought into 2021. Now we begin the new starts. All right. Here comes all the things I worked on that I started in 2021. My WIPs typically live in this Marie Kondo little thing. The 805 Stitcher bags fit in it well. So do the Love You More Studio sleeves. So if you're looking for a basket, I like it. It's cotton. It's sustainable. So there you go. All right. So the very first project that I started for this year was something that I had hoped I would be able to maintain with a stitch along. I did not, and that is the Funky Menagerie by Lindy Stitches. This is what it will look like when it is done. I was sustaining the stitching, and then the winter storm happened here in Texas, which put things into complete chaos, and I have not sustained that. So there will be no before pictures because everything now going forward is a new start. And so this is, I'm doing this on the called for fabric, 32 count flax linen by Zweigart, and I'm doing it on what they called for DMC 2/2. Hope there wasn't a needle on that. And this is where I had gotten to. So I finished part 1 and part 2, and I'm working on part 3 right now. It's so cute. I really do love this pattern, and I think it'll be a good gift for somebody. But we'll see. Y'all, my husband was like sneaking on the side, so I'm gonna pause for a moment so he can do what he needs to do. All right, he has done what he needs to do in that 1 second pause there. So anyways, but yeah, so that was Lindy Stitches that I was working on, and we'll see when I can pick that up. But that lives in an 805 Stitcher Blue Booby Gag because, well, it's Lindy Stitches, and Stephanie, we know she likes a bird, so it lives in the birds. All right. Next up, my next start was the MLK Sampler by Stone Creek Stitchwork. This is what it will look like when it is done. And I pulled this out on so-called patriotic day. So I pulled it on I started it on MLK weekend, and I have pulled it out pretty much in any kind of federal holiday that is around honoring or recognizing aspects of us, the United States. And this is, which I think is a great sentiment to have. I mean, the quote is, the time is always right to do what is right, right? And that is the quote from Dr. King. And frankly, I think that during patriotic weekends and holidays, that's a good time that's the right type of sentiment to have. This nation is a work in progress. It's the promise of the American dream, and frankly, we're not perfect. We have a lot to go. There's a lot of people striving, and I like working on this as a reminder on those weekends. So I am doing this on 36 count Edinburgh linen, Heartland by Picture Disc Plus, 2/2 DMC with the called for DMC. And this is Where I Am. So again, I do think this is one I can possibly finish this year. There are a couple of more federal holidays coming up in the United States in this year. And particularly off the top of my head, I know Veterans Day will be here in November, and then Pearl Harbor Day, that's not a federal holiday, but it is a day, will be coming up in December. Oh, and then in October, there is Indigenous Peoples Day, and so I think this is a good piece to stitch on that day as well. And as you may anticipate that its context, this lives in my Ruth Bader Ginsburg bag from the 805 Stitcher, and the inside is Miss RBG herself. So that's where we are on the MLK Sampler. Next up is a finish, is a start and finish. So I am participating in the Stitching Book Club all year. I did purchase the three patterns, or the 3 books for this year, and I'm hopeful that I'll be able to get the one at Christmas. There will be a limited edition, the Christmas time one for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. She has a limited license, so hopefully I will be paying attention when those go on sale, and I'll be able to get one. But the first one for this year was Sense and Sensibility, the Stitching Book Club. All of them are designed by the Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, and the first one was Sense and Sensibility. I did that on 32 count Belfast linen, ice blue from Zweigart. Make sure I have this going the right way up. And here's the finish. Ta-da! Now, obviously, I have not fully finished this. It's just hanging out. And I have not decided. I've seen how she has a proposed finish for it. I don't know if I'm going to do it that way. I might just get an oval mat and just frame it that way. So, but that's where it is. So that one, I was keeping up with it, but then that storm again has happened. But I did catch up in June, which was catch up on all the Sal Junes. So that one was a finish, a start and a finish. The next one up after that is one of my favorite designers that you have already been told about, which is Barbara Anna's Tree of Life. This one, I don't have a full picture of what it will look like when it's done. This is the card that Nika Moscow provided with it. Ooh, shiny, shiny. Oh, I can't get that glare to go away. There it goes. So this is again a design by Barbara Anna, and I am working on this on the kit that's from Nika Moscow, 32 count Evenweave DMC 2/2, and this is where we are. I have a hanging thread down there, but it's as far as I've gotten on it. Again, I do love this. I don't know when this is going to come back out. This year in 21, someone definitely declared April, Barbara Anna April, and so maybe it'll come back out next April. But hopefully it'll come back out sooner than that, because I do like it. It is a cute and favorite project, and it lives. This one does not live in the tube. This one I did take it out of the tube, and it lives in this beautiful bronze rose Love You More sleeve. Another start and finish for this year is Frank Lloyd Wright's Office Window. It was a kit from Heartland House Designs. I don't know if you can get the kit anymore, but I did purchase it when we went to go visit one of the Frank Lloyd Wright houses. I don't remember which one I bought it at, but it was one of the ones in Buffalo. I think. No, it might have been Falling Water. That might have been where I bought the kit. Anyways, but I bought the kit from Heartland House Design, so it's 28 count even weave with the called for DMC, 2/2, and this was the start and finish. So that's where that is. I love it. I think it's super cute. I'm going to get this framed up eventually, and easy to stitch. I mean, really, the biggest problem is making sure you count, but everything is symmetrical. You can't fudge anything. If you mess up on one side, you got to fix it, because, again, perfectly symmetrical window. Next up is a new start from Lunar Princess. It was a salve. Ooh. Sometimes needle minders get stuck on things. All right. So this was a salve from Sleeping Luna Designs called Lunar Princess. And I don't actually have like a real picture of what it will look like when it's done, but this is the design. So this is what it will look like effectively when it is done. And I am doing this on 32 count even weave Phantom by Picture Disc Plus, 2/2 with the called for DMC. And this is where, oh, here, let me fold this so that way the light doesn't shine through the fabric, so you can at least see the rows. I think it's upside down. Nope, that's right. So that is as far as I've gotten on the rows so far. Now, you'll see on this that she actually has it charted that you fill in that entire circle with the yellow, which I'm assuming is supposed to be the shining of the moonlight. I don't plan on doing that. I am going to, I love this fabric. I think this is a beautiful fabric, and I want people to be able to see it. So the expectation is that I'll stitch in the rose and the crescent moon, but I'll leave the background in the Phantom. And I love Sailor Moon. You may not have noticed that. So, but I will continue to work on that, pick that up as I need to. And it lives in this sweet little geisha Love You More Studio bag. The inside is sushi. How can you not love that? Right. Next up is another start and finish for my Trick or Treat sampler. And though this is a design by Mary Englebright, it comes from the book Cross Stitch for All Seasons. I had previously finished the centerpiece, like before 2019, at some point in time I had finished this centerpiece. So this was the centerpiece already done, and the start and finish for this year was all done in the month of June, which was the frame of the, so this is the frame that goes around the little guy. And I did this as part of a 30 for 30 challenge, which was to work on a project for 30 minutes for 30 days in the month of June. And basically what I did was that I did an acorn a day, and then I did a ghost on each weekend day. So on a weekend day I did an acorn and a ghost. And that's basically how I finished it up. There was enough, and then the last couple of days I focused on that big old border that happened there. So that was a start and finish. I love Mary Englebright. Again, I like cutesy things. And this one, we just need to sit down, get to a Michael's, and get it framed. But I would like to have it framed before Halloween, so that way I can display, because I do love it. So that was another start or finish. I did that. Did I say 14 count Aida black? Just 4 more projects, y'all. Next up was another new start. Oops, hold on. Dropping things. Don't want to drop things. This one does not live in a nice little project bag, which is why everything is falling out. It lives in a Ziploc bag. I'm not perfect. But this is the, get everything out of the way here. Trans Pride Tapestry. This is what it will look like when it is done. And that is the design, the pattern was designed by D20, but the artwork is by Carrie Nakin. So there's that. I am doing this on 16 count Aida Hue by Fourth Night Fabric. That was an exclusive fabric line from a Black Needle Society box for rainbow stitching. And I am using the called for DMC 2/1, and then I have one substitution that I'll be making with Caron for the unicorn. And this is where I have gotten to so far. You may have noticed, I'm a little too close to the edge. Oh no. So I counted out the stitching, and it looks like I'm going to be just like about 4 stitches over from the edge if I do the fold. If I do everything has charted. If I do everything has charted, these little leaves will be right on the edge of my fabric. I did a middle start. I thought I measured everything out accurately. I did not. So I can't decide at this point in time if I'm going to do just the unicorn or if I'm going to do everything has stitched and go from there. But my intention for this is to actually make it into a quilt hanging as opposed to framing it. And that might not be a big deal because I only need 1/4 of an inch. And the selvage in of itself is 1/4 of an inch. And of course I'm going to have a little bit more. So although you shouldn't really quilt with the selvage on there, I might be able to get by with it. And just as a preview, oops, where did it go? Oh, as a preview, I did purchase from Mr. Domestic. If you follow him on his fabric line, I purchased a couple of fabrics. I don't know which one is going to be. I haven't even taken it out of the bags. I'm going to use. I'll kind of see how I feel when it's all said and done. But I bought a couple of quilting fabrics from his line. As possible to finishing it. So there's this one. And then there is this one. Boop. So yeah. So those are going to be the finishing fabrics that I'm going to use for the Transpied Tapestry. This one will come out again this year. I am using it as part of some Magical Stitches challenges and so I am going to get that done. So at minimum, my goal for the year is to finish the unicorn. I think it's going to be a really easy color blocking quilt, color blocking because the unicorn is all filled in with the same stitch. So this will probably end up being my football game pattern this year because it's easy color blocks. And you know, I do actually watch the game. Like, I'm not, like, just sitting there keeping my husband company while he's watching the game. I do watch the game, and so you need to be able to just stop and see, you know. There's a lot of downtime in a football game, believe it or not, right? Like, you know, like, there's the playing of it, and then they got to move. Sometimes there's discussions about, you know, if there's a flag, and then you got to wait, like, for the flag decision to be made. So there's actually a lot of downtime where you're not looking at anything. And so I usually stitch in those times. So no one freak out. And then, of course, you get there like an hour before the game starts. And then, again, there's only so much you can watch before you're like, okay, we're just hanging out. But you need to get there that early because of parking and making sure you can get in, buying food, and because the lines. So, anyways, I'm babbling about that. Last but not least of this batch of stuff is I did have another new start and finish. And again, this is another stitching book club. And this is going to be Little Women. And this is a 32 count Evenweave that I worked on. And this is Vellum by Picture This Plus. I used the call for DMC 2/2. I made no conversions. And this is it. Another start and finish for this year. All right, I got 2 more projects, but this is where I'm going to stop and take a moment to say, if you are related to me, this will be the spoiler section. So after this point in time, everything I'm going to be talking about, which is 2 projects, is a gift for somebody that is related to me. And so either by birth or marriage. So, you know, obviously I can give more detail to that, but then that may be a little spoilery for some people. if they decide to watch. So at this point in time, you go forward if you are related to me and watching the video because you just love me and are supporting my hobby. You have been warned that next up are spoilers. They are gifts for people. So one more time, if this is it, you are family and you are not staying. Bye. Thanks so much for watching. But for everyone else who is not related to me, stay tuned for a couple more projects. So I have 2 gifts that I'm working on this year. I got to sneak behind me here. That's where they are. So this one is going to be a little difficult to show. Well, actually, let's just start with this one first. So this one is Seize the Day by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This is what it will look like when it is done. And I am doing this on 32 count Belfast linen sandstone by Color and Cotton, DMC 2/2, everything with the called for. In here is where I am so far. This is deceptively time consuming. Those houses took forever to do. And this is like 3,500 stitches, y'all. So I made a mistake in the hat. But if you can tell, I hope that you can not, I hope it's not a big deal. I made a mistake, fixed it as best as I could without having to frog the whole thing. And I think it looks okay. You know, if it doesn't, well, who knows. But that is where I am on that one. That is a goal to finish this year as well. And that lives in my Tea and Crumpets, Love You More studio sleeve, because isn't that cute? Okay, now the last one. This one's a little bit more difficult for me to show you everything. So this is the Sing-A Sampler. Okay, so the Sing-A Sampler is by Silver Creek Samplers. Oh, Seize the Day was by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Sing-A Sampler by Silver Creek Samplers is 4 different patterns. So, excuse me while I open up some things so that way I can pull out what is supposed to be the finishes. You know, for someone who is planning a video, I'm not so quite prepared. But when you got piles all around you, you really do kind of want to keep things in containers so that way they don't, you know, flop around everywhere. So let me get all these out so that you can see this is what it is originally called for, and what it's supposed to look like when it is done has called for. So this is Do Re, Mi Fa, So La, and then Ti Do. Now, when I was looking for a pattern like this, the picture I came across was this, and this is a conversion that was done by Jennifer Dinka, and I found this off of the Jane Hicks site, and Jane Hicks is also doing her own conversion inspired by this picture. But the thing is that this is what I saw, and this is what I wanted to stitch. So I am doing this Sing-A Sampler on 32 count Edinburgh Heartland by Picture Disc Plus. I am doing also a conversion inspired by Jennifer and Jan Hicks. And this is where I am right now. So, sorry, it's not iron. I am working on this right now. And I've done it just a little bit different. I am going to be doing the full length, as you can see. I'm going all the way across. So I'm doing it, you know, all the way across like that. And I'm actually doing this has a rainbow, so it is kind of going in rainbow tone all the way across. And and basically what I did was that I changed the lettering so that the do, re, mi, fa, so on are all in that rainbow coloring. The wording of the lyrics, a deer, a female deer, dropping golden sun, etc., that is all in the same color as well. But for the most part, everything else is called for in the Silver Creek. Oh, and when you know the notes to sing, that's also in the same coloring tone that Jennifer and Jan Hicks are doing. But everything else, the deer, the sun, and the clouds, the flowers, that's called for. That I'm actually using the called for on those. And then, of course, I also did a conversion of the runner to Maria as well, like Jennifer did. It doesn't look exactly the same as hers. I'm not as talented, but I'm really proud of where I am on that. And man, I love it. I'm so happy. There's a part of me that's just like, man, I love it. Do I really want to give it? Yes, because as you can see, there's a name in there, and that's not my name. So the gift will be given away. That's it. Those are all my WIPs, so a total of 22. Going forward, I do anticipate a few more known starts that are going to happen is Great Gatsby is the next book for the Stitching Book Club. That'll be coming out. I will probably start that one. I've also got the Cobra Kai for Forbidden Fiber Co. I got that kit earlier this year. I fully intend to start that. That might happen when the next season for Cobra Kai comes out in December, but I don't know if I can wait that long. And so I do have some new starts that I do anticipate will be coming later in this year. A few more finishes, hopefully at least 2 more finishes, because those 2 are gifts that I hope to give at Christmas time this year. But that's it. All right. Almost an hour. That's not too bad for a WIP parade, I don't think, and a smattering of some finishes in there. I hope you enjoyed. If anyone has any opinions on anything, on, if I ask questions on like how I should do things or whatever, I'd love for your feedback down below. So please comment, let me know what's happening. If you do happen to like this video, give it a thumbs up. It does help. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. That helps too. And if you like what you see and you want to see my progress, please subscribe. I do try to film at least once a month at the beginning of the month to give you monthly progress. But sometimes I do film more frequently every other week. It really just kind of depends. But I do try to do at least 1 month. I do a film. And I think that's everything I need you to know. So wherever you are, I hope that you are having a great time and enjoying life, if it's summer or winter or wherever it is, and have a stitching good time. See you later, y'all. Bye.